Welcome to Gentle Night Reads. Today we have a happy bedtime story for you to help fall asleep. Enjoy Raindrops of Regret, a heartbreaking romantic bedtime story. The rain had always been there. It was there the night Adrian first met Elena, when they were just kids huddled under a tiny bus stop, waiting for a storm to pass. It was there the night she first whispered that she loved him, her voice barely audible over the sound of raindrops hitting the pavement. And it was there the night he lost her forever. But tonight, as Adrian stood alone on that same empty street, drenched in the cold October rain, he finally realized something. Love, once lost, never comes back the same way. Adrian never took love seriously. He never believed in it, never let it get too close. Maybe it was because his parents' marriage had been nothing but a battlefield, or because he had seen too many people promise love only to walk away. He thought love was just an illusion, something temporary, something that could never last. But Elena? She believed. She had always been there. His best friend, his partner in crime, the only person who saw through his careless smirks and teasing remarks. And she loved him. She had always loved him. One rainy evening, as they walked home together, she finally said it. "Adrian, I love you." He stopped, staring at her, the rain falling between them. For a moment, he felt something stir in his chest. Something unfamiliar, something terrifying. But fear was easier to ignore than to face. So he laughed softly, shaking his head. "Elena, don't be ridiculous. We're better off as friends." Her smile faltered, just for a second. Then she nodded. "Right, of course." She tried to make it seem like it didn't hurt. But even in the rain, he could see the tears in her eyes. The days that followed were different. The texts became shorter. The laughter faded. She stopped waiting for him after class. Stopped sending him random songs at midnight. She was slipping away. And yet Adrian did nothing. He thought she would come back the way she always did. But then, someone else appeared. A kind, quiet boy who saw Elena one day on campus and fell for her instantly. Unlike Adrian, Ethan wasn't afraid to love her. He wasn't afraid to show up, to be there, to say the words Adrian had always been too scared to say. Adrian told himself it didn't matter. He told himself he didn't care. But then one evening he saw them together. Ethan holding an umbrella over her, laughing softly as she smiled. And that's when Adrian felt it. Jealousy, regret, and something else. The rain poured harder that night. Adrian found himself standing outside Elena's dorm, drenched, his heart pounding in his chest. He had never done this before. He had never chased after anyone. But tonight he was ready to tell her everything. That he had been an idiot. That he had pushed her away out of fear. That he loved her. That he had always loved her. But as he lifted his hand to knock, the door opened. And there she was, with Ethan. Her eyes widened in surprise. "Adrian?" He opened his mouth to speak, but then he saw it. Her hand gently intertwined with Ethan's. And in that moment he knew. He was too late. Adrian turned away, his world crumbling. He walked through the rain, not knowing where he was going. And then his phone buzzed. A text from Elena. "Can we talk?" His heart leaped. Maybe there was still hope. Maybe she still. Before he could finish the thought, the sound of screeching tires filled the air. A car, speeding through the rain. a scream. And then the world went silent. By the time Adrian turned around, all he saw was Ethan kneeling on the wet pavement, screaming her name. Elena lay motionless, her umbrella rolling away in the wind. Adrian couldn't move. He had lost her. Not to Ethan, not to Tom, but to fate itself. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and heartbreak. Elena lay in a hospital bed, pale but breathing, alive but not the same. She would wake up, they said, but her memory might be gone. Adrian sat beside her, gripping her cold fingers, tears mixing with raindrops on his face. He had waited too long to tell her, and now she might never remember him. Elena, he whispered, his voice breaking. I love you. But this time she didn't hear him, and the rain continued to fall. The end.